Good morning, everyone, and thank you for choosing the market briefing analysis of today's financial news. Every day, our goal is to provide you with a thorough and knowledgeable analysis of the most relevant financial news to help you navigate the complex economic landscape. Let's begin our daily review. Financial news, June 26, 2023. Asian equities began the day with mixed results, with Japan's Topix index ending its three-day winning streak, leading to a decline in equities. However, South Korean stocks experienced fluctuations, and Australian shares managed a slight rise. Investors are eagerly awaiting the Federal Reserve's rate decision, and inflation data is being closely monitored for further insights into the central bank's monetary policy path. Positive news came from SK Hynix Incorporated, the memory chip supplier to Apple Incorporated, as it reported better than expected revenue. This signals a potential recovery in the memory chip market, leading to SK Hynix's shares rebounding and putting an end to previous losses. Following Chinese battery maker Contemporary Amperex Technology Company Limited's quarterly profit surge, Asian electric vehicle makers and the related supply chain may see gains. This surge was driven by rising electric vehicle sales worldwide and stabilizing prices of key materials like lithium. Futures for Hong Kong equities showed a slight decline, along with futures for U.S. stocks slipping. However, the S&P 500 recently closed at its highest level since April 2022, and the Nasdaq 100 outperformed, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average recorded its longest winning run in over 6 years. Strong U.S. consumer confidence supports the soft landing narrative for the U.S. economy. In currency movements, the Japanese yen held steady just below 141 to the dollar, while the Australian currency dipped slightly after leading gains against the greenback in the previous session. After the Politburo meeting in China, Chinese assets rallied. However, investors are eagerly anticipating more concrete economic support from Beijing. Concerns remain about the potential impact of debt and demographic constraints on China's growth. Additionally, there were changes in the government, with China removing its foreign minister after just 7 months in the job and naming Pan Gongsheng as the central bank governor. As we approach the Federal Reserve's decision, strong consumer confidence data suggests a soft landing scenario for the U.S. economy. However, policymakers remain cautious about inflation, leading to expectations of a 0.25 percentage point Fed rate hike today and the 50% likelihood of another hike by year-end. In the U.S. stock market, Google's parent company, Alphabet Incorporated, reported impressive second quarter results, driving a 6% increase in its shares during extended trading. Revenue from Google's cloud unit and ad revenue exceeded expectations, dispelling concerns about a slowdown in ad spending. Microsoft Corporation faced disappointment as its revenue guidance for the upcoming quarter fell short of investors' expectations, leading to a 4% drop in its shares during extended trading. Despite this setback, Microsoft surpassed revenue and profit estimates in its fiscal fourth quarter. Before proceeding with our analysis, we would like to remind you that your support is very important to us. If you enjoy this video and find our content helpful and engaging, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. This helps us grow and provide you with even more quality content. Now, let's get back to the news on the financial markets and the latest updates. U.S. stocks closed higher, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average extending its winning streak to 12 consecutive sessions. The Pan-European Stoxx 600 also saw gains, driven by a surge in mining stocks following China's pledge to support its struggling property sector. China experienced a notable political change as Qin Gang was removed from his position as foreign minister after a month of absence from public view. Wang Yi, China's top diplomat, will now take on the role of foreign minister. Investors are closely watching the Federal Reserve's decision today and paying attention to companies' forward guidance. The second quarter earnings season is seen as a pivotal point, and market participants are looking for improvements in the latter part of the year. General Electric, GE, saw a remarkable 6.27% rally, reaching a 52-week high due to better-than-expected earnings. Visa also exceeded expectations in both earnings and revenue, with a positive outlook for the U.S. economy. The Federal Reserve's decision and insights into its thinking hold significant importance for market participants. Strong consumer spending suggests support for the U.S. economy, but it may prompt further interest rate hikes to curb demand. Financial markets are relatively calm as investors wait for the conclusion of the U.S. Federal Reserve's policy meeting. The U.S. dollar index, DXY, fluctuates, and the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury bond yield oscillates between 3.8% and 3.9%. Analysts emphasize that a 25 basis points rate hike is already priced in and may not significantly impact markets. Investors are now focused on hints about the Fed's future moves, which will likely be revealed during the press conference by Fed Chair Powell. In currency markets, euro to US dollar and pound sterling to US dollar benefited from risk flows, while Australian dollar to US dollar saw a sharp decline following Australia's consumer price index data. US dollar to Japanese yen closed in the red for the second consecutive day. Gold continues its upward trajectory, and cryptocurrencies remain relatively stable after recent fluctuations. As we wait for the Federal Reserve's decision, market participants are cautious, and investors are looking for guidance on future monetary policy moves and improvements in the latter part of the year. Key events this week: U.S. new home sales, Wednesday. FOMC rate decision, Fed Chair Powell news conference, Wednesday. China industrial profits, Thursday. ECB rate decision, Thursday. U.S. GDP, durable goods orders, initial jobless claims, wholesale inventories, Thursday. Japan Tokyo CPI, Friday. BOJ rate decision, Friday. Eurozone economic confidence, consumer confidence, Friday. U.S. Consumer Income, Employment Cost Index, University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, Friday. Some of the main moves in markets. Stocks. S&P 500 futures fell 0.1% as of 9:28 a.m. Tokyo time. The S&P 500 rose 0.3%. Nasdaq 100 futures fell 0.2%. The Nasdaq 100 rose 0.7%. Japan's Topix fell 0.5%. Australia's S&P/ASX 200 rose 0.2%. Currencies. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index was little changed. The euro was little changed at $1.1045. The Japanese yen was little changed at 140.98 per dollar. The offshore yuan fell 0.1% to 7.1467 per dollar. The Australian dollar fell 0.1% to $0.6783. Cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin fell 0.2% to $29,166.36. Ether fell 0.3% to $1,856.64. Bonds. The yield on 10-year treasuries advanced 1 basis point to 3.90%. Japan's 10-year yield was unchanged at 0.460%. Australia's 10-year yield advanced 4 basis points to 4.06%. Commodities. West Texas Intermediate crude fell 0.4% to $79.35 a barrel. Spot gold was little changed. In conclusion, we'd like to thank you for watching the market briefing analysis of today's financial news. If you enjoyed our insights and found the information helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel to stay updated with future analyses. Thank you again for your support, and we'll see you soon with more interesting news. Remember, the information in this video is purely informational and does not constitute investment advice. Always consult with a professional before making financial decisions.